But this is the center console removed on the Land Rover. You can see down here, if I can get the angle right, you can see down here, this is the high-low shifter here, and further down in there you can see a flat spot just underneath that wire. I'll put my hand down here, see if I can, just where I'm touching down here. If this vehicle had a center differential lock capability, there would be a circular pad there with a little nipple coming up. You can see the new drive shaft down there though. But I need to get down there and take this front housing off. One other thing I'd like to point out in my investigations on this vehicle, in this harness here, that pin, the third from the right on the top, there is no wire in there. There's pin 7, I believe. You can see on this side there's a blue-black wire coming out of there. That black-blue wire will light up the CDL lock indicator on the dash, which is over there, just above that fuel gauge. If you really want to see, it's just above the fuel gauge. It's a red indicator or orange indicator, can't remember. But some of the 03s and older Discovery 2 models actually have the harness wired in. I'm curious though as to what this wire does. So this is the transfer case that I've been able to obtain. It is an 04. It actually seems to be in pretty good condition up top here, apart from the fact that this assembly here got cracked. Smash. Where I was pointing down before to that flat spot is this area here. You can see this has this housing here and this lever here, and this lever, when you shove it over this way, that locks the differentials. This transfer case, like we said, here is the selector for the differential lock. It's a mechanism inside here. This front housing, you can see the front housing joins on here, down here, and there's 8 bolts all the way around that hold that on, and it slides off. And then I can slide off, well, I can take the one off the existing 2003 box and hopefully slide this one on. A lot of people will say, why don't you just replace the whole transfer case? Well, I got some issues around that because, number one, I don't have the equipment. I work here under that vehicle on this surface, which many of you do, but I don't know, it's just too big a job. The front housing in itself, I think, will be a significant enough job. The good instructions that some excellent folks on the internet have put together really do a great job, but they do require that you take off the cross members. I know for a fact I can't get some of the bolts off my cross members already. Requires a dropping of the Y exhaust, so with the catalytic converters on it, unplugging all of the O2 sensors, which isn't that big a deal. I don't know if it's going to come off that easily. Yeah, so the front housing, I might see how it goes and I kind of try and wiggle it out there. But the good news is that I have this one sitting outside, so I can get a feel for how difficult it is outside of the vehicle to see how much room I might need inside the vehicle. In here, this hole here, which I have the switch out right now, that's the high-low detector switch, which wasn't working on my Discovery, but I pulled this one out here. I've kind of given it a little bit of treatment because it looked a little bit worn, some of the connection points, but this switch does work. This switch buried under here is the neutral sensor switch, which causes a engine tone when the engine's in neutral. That also is working. Okay, so I had some success today. I got the top housing off, the high-low shifter housing. You can see the top of these bolts here. Get on focus. They're a little rusty, and I was able to get them off, and I got all the cabling out, and you can see the front housing down there. I still have the differential on, but there's a lot more space now to access that. You can see just over the top there my brand new oxygen sensor that's just been put in there. I'm going to take that out with the drive shaft, and I reckon I might have enough room to get that out. Yeah, worst case I can even drop the exhaust a couple of inches by taking off the connection to the middle muffler, the center muffler. So I'll take you into the garage because I've taken the front housing off the other one. So it was a really easy job to get the front housing off of this guy. You can see this one is not too bad. Things move pretty smooth. It's fairly clean. But it just slid right out. You can see I can push that in there. So that's in the I'm gonna say that's the high position. Yeah, this is going to come out and go into my unit because I know it works. Anyway, here's the housing. So I think I'm going to take this off and reseal it, might as well, while I'm here. Didn't have to do anything to the front end. I cleaned up the top end, but you can see here I've cleaned it up a bit, and this is all working in here. Flanges are pretty clean. So this one, you should just be able to go and take the other one off and slide this one on. As long as I leave all the gears in place and just line up those splines, it should just slide on. I'm hoping that everything lines up bearing wise. Nobody talks about that, like this shimming. So I'm hoping that it kind of just is okay from that perspective. I have seen a Land Rover video where you have the guy was shimming it up, putting on the front housing at this bearing, this race in here. So I'm not sure. Guess we'll see how it goes. I'll test fit it, and I'm not really sure how you even check for play doing that. Trying to get it over the mount, and I'm not sure how I'm going to get that back in. But I guess we're going to have to give it a try. Checking out the CDL down there. It's a bit awkward because I'm still waiting on two sensor switches, but I managed to fix one of the existing sensors, and figured because I've ordered the new ones that I'll just replace it when it arrives in a day or two. Okay, so finally have a linkage in. This is the high-low lever and also the center differential lock lever from a Discovery one. Bolts straight in through these 4 bolts down here onto the old transfer case. They made a little box section down here with a bearing. Seems to work okay from the lever. The one I bought didn't come with the extension, so I had to figure something out. Cleaned it all up, put some grease in. It came spray painted, but the paint was all over the place in terms of all the linkages and all the pins, so it was a little bit rough. But I've smoothed it all out. You can see here, I'm not going to be able to move it that easily that way, but my CDL just switches on and off just like that. So now we've got to cut the hole in this thing, get it to fit, and then hook it all back up. All the lights are working. That's the linkage, and we'll show you when it gets all back together, and I'll take it for a test drive. Okay guys, just got in the Land Rover here, got into some soft surface, and going to do a quick test of the CDL lock, make sure it's operational. There's nothing here off-road wise that's going to test the CDL in terms of its capability, but I just want to make sure it's working. So I'm just going to flip the camera around. Okay, this is the 2003, so I still have the original knob and the original sticker, so there's no indication here that I have a central differential lock going on. The main transmission is sitting in neutral right now, so I should be able to move this into low. If you hear that, you can hear my neutral working. That's the neutral warning for the transfer case. I put it forward into low, so I'm now in low gear, and magically I can now flip this over. You'll see there's my CDL. If I drive, should be fine. So I'm now in low range with the CDL on. You can hear the gears changing much quicker. And if I turn around on this soft surface, then I should get a nice kind of grinding effect, I guess. But it won't bind up because the ground's loose. So I'm going to go turn here. Can feel it kind of grinding a bit. And yeah, no problem. If I try to accelerate hard here, see if it gets any wheel spin. So yeah, sorry about the camera work, but I floored it there, and traction control didn't even come on. If I turn this off, see it went right off right away this time. If I floor it again, we'll see if TC comes on. Didn't even need traction control at that. So this thing has got amazing grip. I do have those BF Goodrich all-terrain tires on, and with the CDL and everything, it's pretty capable now. So it looks like everything's working after weeks of different problems and issues, and hopefully I can get off-road to enjoy it.